still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And we're back. Hey, Diane, do me a favor. If out there, if the computer's acting funny, see, it moved funny, didn't it, Diane? Because I'm noticing a little problem with the broadcast computer. If it happens out there, let me know. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. Good morning, America. How are you? You know, I would have to say prepared. That happened like ago. I don't know if I'm ready for this. Is a 6-hour show, Diane. Get your energy tablets out. No, it's not really, but I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. How are you today? So yesterday, we talked about this yesterday. We laid the groundwork. Actually, after our program is when things really started to heat up and develop. Now, I told you yesterday morning, good morning, Diane. I told you yesterday morning, I said to you, look, I watch at 4 a.m. Every single network out there, right here. It's when the CIA Mockingbird Media drops their narrative for the day they're going to run. And the only place you could find the videos of Lindsey Graham over in Kiev in Ukraine with Richard Blumenthal, we had to search for those. And we found those videos we played for you yesterday. Not a word, not a, to my knowledge, and I don't know what time they started talking about it. But from that 4 a.m. hour, now I don't know, I don't watch Fox News. Now, Fox News may have said some things yesterday morning because they set the tone and narrative a different way for a different audience. Now, remember that word audience, okay? They're not delivering news to people. They have an audience. Fox delivers their narrative. They do their part. But yesterday morning, not a word. And what they did yesterday is they developed everything. They developed everything for full reporting now. And there's the false flags. So if Zelensky sit in the office, Trump, if this took 18 months to plan Operation Spiderweb, if this took 18 months to plan, who was in on it? Because God knows Joe Biden didn't know about it. Who knew about this? So where are we at here? Do you want me to believe that the day President Donald Trump was sitting in the White House with this guy here? Because we're going to play some video. And the video I'm going to play you, actually, it's very clear on why I watch that side for a narrative that they're trying to put out. So do you want me to believe that on this day, when we all watched the cards, you don't have the cards, right? And Donald Trump, that Donald Trump did not know about this? You want me to believe 109, please. And I know, look, folks, it's 109. I was really behind this morning because of a different story that came up late. So I apologize, Diane. Diane's moving on the fly here with a lot of stuff. But you want us to believe on February 28th that this little guy's sitting there and Donald Trump is telling him he doesn't have the cards, but he has cards. Are you trying to tell me on this day Donald Trump could not see his hand? After the billions of dollars we've invested in Ukraine, after we make the payroll on Friday, after we are the ones, the taxpayers, the American people that make sure on Friday, are you telling me on that day Donald Trump was not aware of Operation Spiderweb? Are you telling me Pete Hegseth wasn't aware of it? Are you telling me Tulsi Gabbard wasn't aware? Who knew what and when did they know it? Because there's a lot here that you just cannot gloss over. I don't want to hear, I understand we have to do a spending package. I understand that we have to put a budget forward. I understand that we have to keep the tax cuts from expiring. I get all that. But please, I don't want to hear big, beautiful bill. Rah, rah, rah. When I have nieces and nephews military age, and this guy is trying to drag us into World War III. I'm just saying. So what happened there that day? We're going to lay it all out, every bit of it out. It's very disturbing. Remember yesterday I put up there, I said, a picture of Lindsey Graham and Blumenthal? Wow. And they want you to believe that 18 this plan, right? And that with 18 months in the works, this plan was kept so secretive that even Donald Trump didn't know about it. And then Lindsey Graham and Blumenthal just happened to have travel arrangements coincide. It just, I don't know. It's very interesting. Now, give me 112. Now, this guy right here, we do not advocate hate. all right? We do not advocate hate. I don't. I mean, I don't advocate hate. I actually sit and I look at things like this and I see the things that happen. You know, how do you do this? How do you even think about doing this to someone else? But let's keep in mind this guy here, an Egyptian citizen, Joe Biden actually, they come in, this is all over the country. We do not know what's here. You don't know what's here. Now, I understand this guy threw Molotov at a Jewish group, and he had set it up for a year, okay? And I just froze, so I'm going to shut down during the break, all right? Because like I said, I got something's going on with the computer this morning. But the guy threw Molotov cocktails at a group of Jewish protesters. We don't know who is. Hey, Joe Biden let him in. His administration let him in. Happens all the time. All the time. I understand he's here in this country illegally, but he came here on a tourism visa. Now, a tourism visa is generally not that hard to get. You want to visit the United States, you're on holiday, you give your reasoning, you give the dates you're going to be, and you're a tourist. You've come to the United States. So you're going to get here on Monday, and 3 weeks later, you're going to leave on Friday. And those are the dates that are stamped on that visa or whatever the case may be. This happens in America, and this is what they do. They don't leave. They don't leave. They go down there to Disneyland or something, and they get on the teacups, and they don't leave. Right here. It's all the time. You do not know who's in this country. You don't know what's about to be unleashed. Now, you talk about Zelensky. This guy right here, I understand. This guy right here, I understand, planned this for a year. A year. That's what, that's Molotov cocktails. This guy was Egyptian citizen, tourism visa. I don't know. I've got to look it up, but I'm being told he drove a car for rent, Uber or Lyft. I'm not for sure. God knows I don't want to get it wrong, but you don't know who is in this country. You do not know who is in Asian. We want to stop the Chinese communists from coming in. We want to stop Muslim radicalists from coming in our country that want to kill us or kill Jewish people or anybody. We don't want anybody coming into the country that does not want to assimilate. There's a big word, right? They don't want to assimilate with America, and they're here to harm America. And we'll go into that a little later. Just keep in mind, Jewish friends, Joe Biden let him in. Now, at 10 o'clock, we're going to have the Georgia Hour. And there's a reason why I released the audio tape a week ago now of a conversation with current chairman Josh McCoon of the Georgia Republican Party. And it really is to lay the groundwork for what we have dealt with and why we must drain the swamp of the Georgia Republican Party Give me number 80, Diane, and then we're going to get ready to go to break and reset. We're going to come back and focus on this war, ongoing war. Now, yesterday there was a video. This is the cover of an audio that's been released. Now, Sally Grubhub, all right, I told you early on, she's the former chair of the Cobb County Republican Party. We know Cobb County went blue and deeper blue in 2024. We know she has done a terrible job. She wants to be first vice chair of the Georgia Republican Party. But here's what I know. I know there's two Sallys. Sally in front of the camera, the loving, caring, compassionate Sally. And then there is the behind the scenes mole. Do I use this word? The despicable behind the scenes mole that will play any dirty trick. She's calculating. Every time Sally Grubbs talks to you, she's calculating. Clock on the Georgia hour. There you go. A little less pride in June. 107. A little less pride. Not quite the pride of years gone by. Pride Month. The survey is in. The study is in. And give me number 95. There are stores and businesses. Big change pull back on public LGBTQ support. Little less pride there in June and a little more just June. Diane, I'm going to want number 33 in a moment. But this morning they came out with this study that they've done. I want to show you one more thing. Give me just a minute ago. Give me number 99. CNN now runs advertising along the bottom for their programs. Companies taking a muted approach. Pride Month. Target, Kohl's, Macy's, Nordstrom's, The Gap. That's just a few. You remember what Target did, let's just say a couple years ago, right? Like when you walk in, their front display was a full line of Pride Month celebration clothing for the gender neutral of the world. Remember that? Well, that didn't work out for Target. So these companies are like, you just have to come back and shop in August. We might. Just saying. So give me, what was that number I asked for? It's June. Next month is June. No, it's not. So that I like that one. All right. So we're going to take a break. When we return, what if this, man, I'm not going to, give me number 20. I will explain this. Georgia. What if in Georgia, Brian Kemp is trying to make sure that the constitutional officers that he can control do not align with MAGA? What if? Right? Just saying. What if? Just saying. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, it will be time to attack, spider web attack. That's going to be interesting. The entire story when we return. Take a break.
At Days Chevrolet in Jasper, we're proud because for more than 65 years, we've built a legacy of trust for the families we serve. That's why 80% of our business comes from repeat customers and referrals. When you treat folks as well as we do, word is bound to get around. Days Chevrolet in Jasper, family first since 1959.
Days Chevrolet, Days gets it done.
Together, let's drive.
Larry's Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender. We take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Welcome to El Rey Azteca Mexican Restaurant. We invite you to indulge your senses with our from-scratch authentic Mexican food. Whether you are hungry for fajitas or the El Rey Azteca burrito, we offer a wide variety of fine Mexican dishes, drinks, and desserts. Our inviting patio, indoor seating, and bar has a seat for everyone. So come to El Rey Azteca for delicious food, great drinks, good friends, and loads of fun in a casual and friendly atmosphere.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
All right, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. I reset the entire computer, and I'm still glitching here, so I don't know what's going on today. If it freezes too many times or something, let me know if you don't mind, and I'll try something else. But we'll have the Georgia Hour, folks. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. We'll have the Georgia Hour at 10 a.m.
Hey, Brian.
Yes.
Let's go to card real quick and let me go wired. I may drop the signal, but let me go wired. It might be on my end.
Okay.
So let me go to card. I've got everything ready to go wired. I just got to switch the plugins. So just give me a second.
All right, folks, sorry about that. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. And we hope that corrects it. So every once in a while, my end, it's the internet world, my end or Diane's end. Sometimes things do happen. And so we're working on that. If there's any problem out there, you let us know. And just let us know if you're having any issue. All right, Diane. Now, at 10 o'clock, we'll have the Georgia Hour. The Georgia Hour will be here at 10 o'clock, and we have a lot to cover at 10 o'clock this morning. I want to show you something here. We're going to talk about Ukraine. And give me number 76, all right? And I want to put some of this together. This is General Flynn, Lindsey Graham, Blumenthal visits Zelensky. Then 24 hours later, Ukraine attacks Russia, Russians' nuclear triad. Coincidence? I hope not. If they knew, we're in deep trouble. If they didn't, they're fools, and Zelensky played the U.S. for fools. Wake up, America. So we started asking the questions yesterday. We played the Lindsey Graham. I said, what is he doing over there? What is Lindsey Graham doing over there in Blumenthal? This is not a coincidence. All right, then let's look at Diane, give me 117. And we'll look at this, and then we're going to start breaking down. Okay. Now, this is 117. I'm going to have to pull it up so I can see it. Mike Benz, Russia carried out this Russian Pearl Harbor attack literally the day after Trump won CIA director and Security Secretary of State Mike Pompeo arrived in Kiev. Now, yesterday we brought you, right, that Lindsey Graham and Blumenthal was there. But former CIA, now this is from Mike Benz, former CIA and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo arrived in Kiev, as well as Senate Budget Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham, who that day pledged to override Trump's policy in Ukraine. Wow. Yes. Mike Pompeo. Now, here's what I find interesting. I didn't cut it out and crop it and bring it here this morning. Mike Pence tweeted out yesterday. Mike Pence, former vice president, if you don't remember him. Mike Pence tweeted out yesterday that Ukraine's surprise attack means they are ready to fight and not give up to the evil Russian Empire. Yeah, he tweeted that out. So one more time, Mike Benz is telling you Ukraine carried out this Russian Pearl Harbor attack literally the day after Trump, CIA director and Secretary of State in the first administration, Mike Pompeo, arrived in Kiev. Wow. So we're supposed to believe that no one in the sprawling U.S. intelligence apparatus, which plays to the granular role in Ukraine war effort, ever received any notification of the massive, unprecedented drone attack on Russian nuclear-capable warplanes. All right, so we'll go with that. We're led to believe, and you and I don't believe it. Let's put it like that. We don't believe any of this. Nothing. All right? But they want you to believe. No one. Now, here's the scary part. Was Trump aware of this? Are they hiding the back door from Trump? Did Trump sit in the Oval Office that day? Because they're going to tell you this took 18 months. Now, I'm going to lay this out. Let's look at a couple more graphics, because we're going to now go into the deep state and the narrative. Okay, you know, I tell you every day, I get it. People are not getting their news from MSNBC. That's what you tell me. I'm okay with that. By the way, we'll pull this up anyway. Diane, let's go to number 44. Ed Smith, is that his name? Is it Ed? Ed Martin, not Smith. Ed Martin. Trump administration opens investigation into Biden's final days of office. Ed Martin is looking at the pardons and the auto pen, just to let you know. So while that picture's up there and we don't know, now everybody's all bent out of shape over this. Give me this one here, because we're going to dive right in. Trump put this out, and we have the auto pens, and then Trump. Where did I put this one out? Where's the one with Trump? There it is. Give me number 35. So keep in mind, we're going to stay in the 18 months. Remember, this was planned for 18 months. So that what they want to tell you is This was in the planning all through the campaign stage, right? This was in the plans. Donald Trump campaigned all over America, unbeknownst this day would come. Zelensky is over in Germany, and he's over in Lithuania, and he's over at the EU, and he's over at in Brussels, and he's back up there at number 10 Downing Street. Remember this. I want to put all this out. Remember, the day after the Oval Office, he went to Downing Street, right? Number 10 Downing Street with Stammer, is that his name? It took the FU, what I call, excuse me, I won't use the words, but I call it the FU picture to Donald Trump. Look where I'm at. And don't forget, Zelensky's signed a 100-year deal. He signed, now wait a minute, this strike's all going to go on because Zelensky signed a 100-year deal with the UK approximately 4 days before Trump was inaugurated. You can't make any of this up, folks. Bottom line. Remember that? So Trump puts out the other day, which Joe Biden is out there. Who is this guy? Is this Joe Biden III? And the media lost it. So take that down. Now, so give me number 49. Ukraine drone strike in Russia puts the kibosh to peace talks. Now, okay, so again, they lied to the American people. They've lied to us about JFK. They lied to us about 9/11, right? You know, I have always, from day one, from childhood, I've always been a patriot. But I could give you a list a mile long about 9/11. But 9/11 caused you and I, many of us, to put on the patriot hat like never before and support our country. Things changed for me. I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. That didn't change. But they lie to us about all this stuff. And they do not care. I mean, all right, so give me number 49. Did I maybe I didn't say it, Diane. There you go. Thank you. Or did you take it down because I was yapping away? Russia puts the kibosh on peace talks. This guy never wanted peace. This guy has never, he's looked at every way he could keep the war going. Now, if you truly want peace, all right? Now, some are going to say, well, this right here showed Vladimir Putin that they're serious and he better come to the table and deal with them. My understanding, even after this attack, Putin has still said, this is the surrender. This is the unconditional surrender that I want from you. You got to remember, you don't know that you've been told the truth of all the damage and all the satellite images that's been produced and sent to you. You don't know that. Because they say 1 million Russians have been killed. But where is the satellite footage of digging mass graves and dumping bodies in mass graves? There's no satellite footage. So look at here, put the kibosh. All right. Peace talks between Russia and Ukraine ended less than 2 hours. Didn't even last 2 hours yesterday. Number 50, senators itching for Trump green light to move on Russian sanctions. Itching, all right? Number 51, semaphore, Russia sanctions, momentum builds in Washington. Building that momentum in Washington. Sanctions, get money down there, put the budget out, $1 trillion budget, build those weapons, ship them to a third party, get them right in there to Ukraine. Look, this was all laid out yesterday. All laid out. Yesterday morning, we brought it, started talking about it very early. None of the networks. Yesterday, they laid the narrative out. All right, so I want a couple more. We have the Russian agreement. We'll talk about that later. Here is number 57. Yesterday, this is from the Telegraph. Putin hands surrender terms to Ukraine. Russian negotiators lay out demand for ceasefire and ending the war during second round of talks in Istanbul. Putin hands surrender terms to Ukraine. I've told you this over and over. If Zelensky wanted to end the war, that attack would have never taken place. Now, for the warmongers, that attack to them puts Ukraine in a different position. We're going to show you all the things the deep state's saying. All right? But keep this in mind the entire time we're discussing this. The 18 months. Keep that in the back of your mind the whole time, the 18 months. We went through a presidential election, went through an inauguration. Stammer came and sit in the Oval Office with Trump. Macron came and sit in the Oval Office with Trump. Zelensky came over here. Trump said, you don't have the cards. And now they want you to believe that Zelensky was sitting there that day with a secret. I have to tell, are they keeping Pompeo? Why is Pompeo? Do you believe that Tulsi Gabbard, our intelligence, do you believe Tulsi Gabbard, I just want to know, our CIA, Ratcliffe, I'll keep this in mind, Ratcliffe, CIA, Tulsi Gabbard, Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, you want me to believe they did not know? Or did they know Mike Pompeo? Why is Mike Pompeo over there? All right, so the unconditional surrender. Now, I'm going to run through a couple graphics, and then we're going to get ready to show you some video from the deep state and the narrative they are trying to run. Now, give me 78 this morning. New York Times, Ukraine hit attack drones in Russia. Hid, not hit. Hid, they hid them, okay? Ukraine hid attack drones in Russia. These videos show what happened next. Attack flipped the script on how war is waged. Ukraine said it unleashed 117 drones in attack on Russia. Now, they want you to believe that Ukraine changed the landscape. Ukraine did. No American intelligence, no help from the UK, no help from the French, the Germans, that the Ukraine flipped the script on how war is waged. Somehow I don't believe that they did that. Now, couple graphics. Give me 85, CNN. Now, like I said, yesterday morning, nothing. You see, Pompeo's over there. The attack takes place. Lindsey Graham is over there. Blumenthal is over there. Nothing yesterday morning. They waited till they got the narrative from where? 85, Russia-Ukraine peace talks end with no major breakthrough. Number 86, Ukraine strikes Russia air base ahead of peace talks. Give me number 91, MSNBC. Did Operation Spiderweb change the Russians' offer? Will that change the offer Vladimir Putin is making Ukraine? Let me get just a couple more here. Want to make sure I have all the... Give me 100. Ukraine strikes Russia air bases ahead of peace talk. These are all things they want you to know. Keep that in mind. I want 109. I want 109. I don't want that right now. We'll be using that. So don't go to 109 right now. Here's 110. Russia sets out punitive terms at peace talks with Ukraine. Ukrainian defense minister who headed Kiev's delegation said Kiev, which has drawn up its own peace roadmap, would review the Russian document on which he offered no immediate comment. Ukraine has proposed holding more talks before the end of June. But Zelensky believes only meeting between Zelensky and Putin can resolve many of the issues. Now, Zelensky doesn't want peace. Now, I'm not asking you to draw a determination. You draw your own determination. But Vladimir Putin does not feel he's on the same level as Zelensky. Vladimir Putin does not feel he has to sit down with Zelensky. He calls Zelensky the root causes. So I'm not for sure if this would take place, but Zelensky keeps saying, oh, he's got to meet with me face to face. Putin says that's not going to happen at this given time. I showed you this one, 113. They're itching, right? And then Blumenthal, 114. Blumenthal goes to MSNBC to start carrying the narrative. And here is 115. There is, you notice the media pictures. The media pictures leave out Pompeo. Yeah, do you notice that? I do not know if Fox or any of the other networks, but I know CNN, NBC, ABC. Give me 116. There's Graham. Here's Blumenthal and Zelensky. And here you go, number 117. That's Mike Pompeo. Right there. A meeting, Mike Pompeo. So that's the last one. Now, yesterday, what did I tell you? Because keep in mind, give me 109. The entire time we're talking from here on out, what did Trump know at this time? What did he know? See, a couple weeks ago, someone called me and said, well, I'll get to that in a minute. Let's go with yesterday. I showed you these yesterday. They laid the groundwork. And give me video 8.
They could move the drones inside these containers, it seems at will. And the Ukrainian intelligence services can do a lot of other things inside Russia. If anything, I'd see this as a prelude to other kinds of attacks, maybe not on airfields, but other targets that the Ukrainians want to hit. So I think the takeaway for me is Ukraine, as I said earlier, has more cards than President Trump suggested, and Ukraine is prepared to fight a longer war. This terrible war, this bloodbath, as President Trump has called it, seems to me likely to continue for a year or two more because neither side seems willing to make the fundamental concessions.
See, yesterday they were laying out, okay? Yesterday they were laying out a year or two more. Did you see that yesterday? I showed you that. I picked that up. Now, that's one of the reasons I have this on in the morning is I pick up what they're trying to do. And keep in mind, Lindsey Graham and Blumenthal went over there. Now, one more yesterday. Now, Trump campaign promising, we're not sending any more weapons to Ukraine. We're not sending them any more money. And well, we'll do that in just a minute. Give me video 3.
But a lot, David, is going to depend on security assistance. I mean, they still very much need things that only the United States can provide. And, you know, one of the central questions we have to ask ourselves is, if Donald Trump decides he wants to walk away from peace negotiations and diplomacy, does that mean he's going to walk away from, forget about donating weapons to Ukraine? I think that ship has sailed. But will he sell weapons directly to Ukraine? And more important than that, will he allow weapons that are sold to the Europeans, including Patriot missile systems and so on, to be donated to Ukraine? In other words, will he allow third-party transfers? If he does that, then Ukraine has a pretty good chance of staying in the fight for a long time.
Okay, so 2 years, third-party transfers, right? So they're laying the groundwork yesterday. We played those videos for you. They're laying the groundwork 2 more years. They want to fight. They don't want to stop. Remember, over there at number 10 Downing Street, we're behind you all the way. Over in Brussels, we're behind you all the way. Over in Germany, we're behind you all the way. Macron, even Macron's husband, Brad or Bridget, we're behind you all the way. I'm serious. Trump campaigned no more weapons, no more money. All right? So, will we sell the weapons to a third party, ship them into Ukraine? Now, you got to understand, Vladimir Putin sees it. Oh, let's go with a fact. You ready for a fact? Let's go with a fact. A fact. Russia has the largest nuclear arsenal in the world. Let's always stay with that fact. Now, I don't believe there's a such thing as a tactical nuke, but they have technical nukes that they could precision an area and wipe it off the face of the map. Let's stay with the facts in this as we discuss it. Now, Vladimir Putin has said the minute we put Patriot missiles in there, the minute we put weapons in Ukraine, he's at war with NATO. He's at war with us. So, will we continue to sell weapons, third party, put them in? Now, let's see. We have the cards. No cards. That's a famous statement. So, we always have Fox News plays their role. Let's go with video 14.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky recently hosted Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina and Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut for talks in Kyiv. The meeting happened just days before Ukraine launched that series of drone attacks targeting Russian warplanes. And Senator Blumenthal joins us now. He's a member of the Homeland Security, Armed Services, and Judiciary Committees. Also with us, the host.
Just days. What do you think of that? Now, so you always had to have Fox News play their role. You know what I always say, friends don't let friends watch Fox News. So Fox had to play their role yesterday. Video 2.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
It certainly does establish that this country, whose president was being told at the White House that he didn't have any cards to play, that he apparently has quite a few cards to play, including this daring attack, which, you know, if the Ukrainians can be believed, wiped out about 30 to 40% of Russia's strategic bombing force. That's a major setback for Russia. It is an embarrassing intelligence failure and an embarrassing defense failure. And who knows what else the Ukrainians, who proved pretty ingenious, may have up their sleeves.
I don't know. Now, you may not be able to believe the Ukrainians. You may not. But it seems like they've got a lot of cards to play. Fox News said it seems like Trump was wrong that day that he was talking about cards. Do you think, now I want to know from you, do you think Donald Trump, right? Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, that whole entire encounter, that Trump is sitting there knowing when the time is right? Trump is sitting there knowing, and so is J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, that, okay, this looks good for all those cameras. We're going to cancel the mineral signing deal. That ceremony's canceled. We're going to show pictures of the two podiums that we were going to have this great press conference. We're going to do all that knowing that when the time is right, we're going to send Lindsey Graham, Mike Pompeo, and Richard Blumenthal. And when the time is right, you're going to strike Russia. Tell me, what happened in that office that day? And does it seem like the media is enjoying Trump's, you don't have the cards? Even Brit Hume, Fox, you don't have the cards? Now, this is give me video 15. I just want to show you yesterday, the Istanbul. Run that one, and then we'll come back. So Ukraine's on this side of the table, Russia's on this side of the table, lasted an hour and a half in Istanbul. Nothing happened. Nothing at all happened. Russia, according to Operation Spiderweb, according to, if you can believe it, Brit Hume said 40% of their their fleet that can transport nuclear weapons is destroyed. If you can believe all that, you would think that maybe Russia would go to the table yesterday and say, okay, let's look at here's the list. Here's the list. Got it? Oh, you don't like it? Okay, we'll see you later. Because outside looking in, now I don't trust all the satellite imagery, because I don't know where it's all coming from. I don't trust the reports. I've went to some Ukrainian websites. I don't trust all their reports. And I'm not for sure. They say 1 million people are out of power in Russia. Not for sure 100%, but Russia does not seem phased right now. We will see. So give me, hold on a minute. This one, video 10. Pay attention to these words, folks. Video 10. Now, Blumenthal was just there. Video 10.
That attack, that nobody knew about it, despite the very substantial amount of planning and preparation that had to go into it. Zelensky sat in the Oval Office with Donald Trump as the president demeaned him and insulted him by saying he had no cards and kept secret these plans. I think it will go down with the United States Osama bin Laden raid and the Israeli pager operation, one of the great special operation maneuvers of all history. And the more we learn about it, the more incredible it seems. But he kept it under wraps from everyone, including many in the Ukrainian government itself.
Senator.
You know, he should be imprisoned right now just for standing there and lying. I mean, you should not be allowed to do that. That should not. Well, that's freedom of speech. No, that's someone that took an oath to uphold the Constitution. That's someone that has the power of the pulpit and the power to be able to come and say things that you should be able to trust. He kept it under wraps, even from many in his own government. Is that what he told them over there? He kept it under wraps. He sat in the Oval Office the whole time having the secret no one knew about. Give me 109. Did you hear what he said? He sat in the Oval Office. What's the possibility of that picture and the video running over the top of it? Nah, forget it. That's a lot of extra work that I'm trying to throw in there. But I want you to remember, he sat in the Oval Office, Zelensky, with this secret. No one? A special ops, 18 months was planned? I sure hope they're not planning a special ops against us, right? Just saying. Because there's no way for 18 months this was planned, kept from many in his own government. That's because he's a dictator. How do you do that? He's a dictator, no elections. And he wants you to believe that Trump, if it's been planned, did Jake Sullivan know? Right? Did Blinken know? Did Burns? Former CIA director Burns, did he know? So I just keep in mind, they want you to believe that what happened, Ratcliffe, our CIA director, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, in that Oval Office, what happened that day? Because here's the thing when we get done. Or is the deep state running our war machine around the world, undermining our president? You got to think about that. Now, give me the cards. Let's continue with the cards. Video 12.
The combination of the attacks in the east, the offensive there, and the attacks on civilian populations are in no way deterring the people of Ukraine or Zelensky. They are absolutely determined, and Trump may have told them they have no cards, but they beg to differ. They have cards, and they're long-term cards. 18 months is what it took to plan this attack on the airfield, and they have other measures in the works.
Senator.
Trump may have sit there that day and said, you got no cards, but Zelensky's the next Churchill. Remember, he's Winston Churchill. He's sitting there the whole time. Look, you may think I have no cards, but I have cards. I have cards. They're in the plane, but I have cards. Yes. I have a long-term plan. I'm working on a plan. That's long-term. And I will show you my cards very soon, Mr. Trump. I don't know why I do stuff like that. But anyhow, think about that. That's what I'm thinking about, right? Trump might have said, you got no cards, no cards. He showed him he's got long-term plans. Are you saying that Ukraine, if we send them some money and weapons, they stand a chance? Because this has been planned for 18 months. So back when we were saying they were failing, you mean they really had a plan? While all their people were dying, while their people out in the fields, their poor Ukrainians out there in the country that are just dying, while they've got vans going around picking people up, throwing them in the back of the van and giving them a gun and training them in 48 hours and say, go out there, see if you can find a Russian and shoot. While all that's happening, they mastermind for 18 months the spider web. I don't know. Let's see. Now, video 11. This is what I'm telling you. I have the document. We don't have time for it today. I have the document, but go ahead. Video 11.
The size of your army, Ukraine, going forward, how is he viewing these negotiations with Russia? Even before yesterday, there was intelligence about what Putin was going to offer, which is, in essence, more of the same. Disarm Ukraine, new elections to displace Zelensky, secession of territory, no security guarantee. It's what Putin has called eliminating the root causes of the conflict. And it's just totally mocking the people who think peace is possible with Putin at this point.
Basically, it's a surrender notice. It's a surrender. Okay? Your border, you have a border with us. For 400 years, I don't know, your territory was part of Mother Russia. So not to do a history class here at this time, but you got to remember, okay, it's not like Ukraine was this part of the USSR that broke up like East, West Germany and like Poland and Czechoslovakia and Lithuania. That's not the case. Ukraine was for hundreds of years part of Mother Russia. Now, that's a history lesson in itself. So you have people in these regions that Russia is claiming want to be Russian, want to be a part of Russia. That's what their claim is. He also said you're not part of the deal with the United States and Gorbachev and Reagan was you pull the nukes. Ukraine used to be loaded with nuclear weapons. You pull the nukes out. You pull the nukes out. This was one time in the deal. You pull the nukes out. So Ukraine has no nuclear weapons. You got it? None. And part of that deal, you pull the nukes out. And the second part is you don't add any more military equipment. You have a friendly border with Russia. All right? And you're not a part of NATO. That's always been the deal. Now you're going to say, well, they broke the deal when Vladimir Putin went into Georgia. They broke the deal when Vladimir Putin went into Crimea. All right. But here's the bottom line. Operation Spiderweb did not touch. You heard what Blumenthal said. Once the root cause, Zelensky. Zelensky thinks he needs to meet man-to-man with Putin. Putin thinks he needs to be, executed for war crimes, just like they want to execute him for war crimes, whatever. Russia, he's got to go. Parliament's got to go. Must have a Russian-friendly government. I'm not asking you to agree or disagree. That's up to you. Russian-friendly government. No more weapons. You don't pour weapons into here, and you will not have security troops. Then we'll make a deal. Basically a surrender. Blumenthal, they're angry over Operation. Go ahead, give me, 18. I think it's on the screen. It's only 26 seconds. Give me video 18.
Дійсно не бачив цього меморандуму, але я дійсно від партнерів і від розвиток партнерських отримав інформацію, що там може бути. Це дуже схоже на ультимативні речі Російської Федерації. Я відверто поділюся з вами, що я про це думаю, коли я побачу.
That the memorandum, the Russian requirement and their response is online. You can go read the entire thing. It's out there online. You can read what Russia put out. They're not hiding it. Read their response. Now, in that Oval Office, let's see, what did we have left? Sanctions. Let's go with the sanctions. Video 9. Republicans bypassing Trump. Video 9.
By Russian missiles. Are Republicans that you're with, when the time comes, will they stand up to Vladimir Putin, do what's right, and pass the sanctions bill that you and Lindsey Graham have put together? Will they push it to the floor and get a vote on it?
Key question, Joe. I'm very encouraged.
What's your best guess?
My best guess is yes. My best guess is probably 75% yes. And here's the reason. First of all, Speaker Johnson yesterday said he was in favor of sanctions. Very good sign, because he wouldn't say it if the White House were telling him that it would oppose it, which I think is the critical fact. The White House can stay neutral. It can stay hands off, and Republicans.
Did Trump tell Europe? Did he tell the UK? Did he tell Macron? Did he say to them, look, folks, Russia won this war. Let's figure out how to get out of it. And they said no. I'm telling you, there's so much here. The fact is, what are we going to do what is Putin going to do? So give me this right here. This is where, keep this in mind. We're coming into video 4. Listen very closely to this one, and then we have one more and we'll get out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the difference is, of course, 24, Trump's on the ballot. Right. And what we found time and again, what Republicans have found time and again, when Trump is on the ballot, they do better. When Trump is not on the ballot, they do worse. And Trump's not going to be on the ballot again.
Yeah, some enthusiasm for the midterms.
Okay, we got some enthusiasm for the midterms. We always play that one. Now give me video 1.
Two leaders and not come out with a breakthrough. It's another damaging thing for him. And again, Trump promised that he would solve the war in Ukraine and bring peace there within a day of taking office. 4 months later, no major changes.
Yeah, when we're talking about intractable issues.
Somebody called me 2 weeks ago. It's been about 2 weeks ago, and they said, look, I support Donald Trump, But, he did campaign saying that war would be over in 24 hours. And this individual said, I understand the war couldn't logistically be over in 24 hours, but that comment's starting to haunt him. And I want to say, one more. This is the deep state, because 2026, video 13.
My main takeaways was that peace, even a ceasefire, are nowhere in sight. Obviously, Putin is launching, even as we speak, a major offensive, mobilizing forces in the east, Donetsk and Luhansk and other territories. But the Istanbul proposal that he made yesterday shows how unserious he is about peace talks. He's mocking Trump, playing him, and my visit to Ukraine confirmed for me that that country is in it for the long run. They're planning for the future. They've pioneered and championed the revolution of ground warfare through the use of drones. They're ahead of the United States, which produced 100,000 last year. Ukraine will produce 4.5 million of these small drones. I visited the plants where they do make them. But I also had a chance to see the sites in Ukraine that have been bombed. Putin has escalated his attack on civilians to a order of magnitude that is just brutal beyond words. Whole neighborhoods destroyed. And so he's going to retaliate probably again in response to this attack on his airfield. But the combination of the attacks in the east, the offensive there.
One of my major takeaways, there's no end in sight. There's no peace around the corner. And Ukraine is in this for the long haul. They're in it for the long haul. They're ready for this fight. And, we only produced 100,000 drones last year. They produced 4.5 million. You can't believe nothing these people say. All right. In it for the long haul. These people are fired up over there. I went over there. They're fired up. I don't think so. I don't think they're fired up. I think if you go out into the country there in Ukraine, the farmers and the families and the ones that lost their husbands and daughters and children, I don't think they're fired up. But the takeaway is they're in it for the long haul. And what is the long haul? Right? Well, video 1.
Two leaders and not come out with a breakthrough. It's another damaging thing for him. And again, Trump promised that he would solve the war in Ukraine and bring peace there within a day of taking office 4 months.
109. Is Trump being undermined? Did Trump really sit there that day? Marco Rubio sit there that day? Did Pete Hegseth? Did J.D. Vance in that day? Did they know this operation was out there? Did they know it was out there and they said, go ahead and pull it off? We can't get Putin to come to the table. Pull it off. This might get him to come to the table and talk. Just saying. But don't forget, Mike Pompeo, Lindsey Graham, and Richard Blumenthal were in Kiev just in time for the operation. Take a break.
At Days Chevrolet in Jasper, we're proud because for more than 65 years, we've built a legacy of trust for the families we serve. That's why 80% of our business comes from repeat customers and referrals. When you treat folks as well as we do, word is bound to get around. Days Chevrolet in Jasper, family first since 1959. Together, let's drive.
Larry's Body Shop in LJ. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Welcome to El Rey Azteca Mexican Restaurant. We invite you to indulge your senses with our from-scratch authentic Mexican food. Whether you are hungry for fajitas or the El Rey Azteca burrito, we offer a wide variety of fine Mexican dishes, drinks, and desserts. Our inviting patio, indoor seating, and bar has a seat for everyone. So come to El Rey Azteca for delicious food, great drinks, good friends, and loads of fun in a casual and friendly atmosphere.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
Okay, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. All right, we have 30 minutes. We have 35 minutes, Diane. I'm preparing you too, Diane. You need to be ready because in 35 minutes, the Georgia hour starts. It's loaded. I mean, it is absolutely loaded, the developments that are coming through. The developments that are coming through. You want to call everyone and say, look, there's developments. So that's at 10 o'clock. You know, they can't stand it because we expose the truth. And it's just flat out the truth. And we offer, if you notice, we offer, and you know me, this audience knows BKP here. You know me. I offered Sally to send me a message and show me some documents that cleared things up. Nothing. They never offer me any kind of documents. They never offer any kind of explanation. Nothing. Because I would bring it to you, but they don't do it. There's a reason why. All right, so anyhow, that's at 10 o'clock, the Georgia hour. I got to be careful here. I'm getting fired up. Fired up. Okay, so what do we have left? Give me this one here. I want to play this for a reason. We talked about this. Keep in mind when we open the show, and I think what time I have left, I'm going to have to give you some study items, okay? I mean, I'm going to have to give you some items for study. I just going to have to. So, where are we at here? Give me number 31. Remember this guy here, all right? All of my Jewish friends out there, remember Joe Biden actually brought this guy into the country, all right, and allowed him to stay on a tourist visa. Now, here's something I think with all the noise out there, and I mean noise, give me number 40. I think it's important that we study. Someone go out there, and as soon as I get a chance, and I'm not reading 18 documents and watching videos and waking up to videos and text messages. Sorry, Diane, I put this one. This is a different graphic, and I put it in a mix that I should not have. But number 40, I want you to go and please, the Nippon Steel, the Japanese deal on Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel, go look at the backside of this deal that was made here in America and pay attention to that one. The other one, let's see, let me make sure. Number 44. The poison pen. Trump administration opens shock investigation into Biden's final days. 45. President Trump's administration has opened an investigation into whether Joe Biden was competent when he used the auto pen to issue lame duck pardons to family members and death row inmates. Ed Martin, right? Ed Martin, Trump's ultra MAGA pardon attorney, said the Justice Department has been directed to investigate clemency granted by Biden in the waning days of his presidency. So that investigation, here is 46. In an email to staffers on Monday, that was Monday, yesterday, Department of Justice Pardon Attorney Ed Martin said he has been directed to investigate clemency granted by Biden in the waning days of his presidency. Even Hunter's nerves are shot. They're going to investigate. All right, so Tom Homan sounds the alarm. I'm not going to play the whole entire thing, but I know he's correct. Let me get the number out here. Pretty sure it's number... Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Sorry, hang tight. I got a video here. Give me video 17. I'm not going to play the entire thing. Give me video 17.
Now, borders are. Tom Homan. Tom, let's get your first reaction, your first public comments on this issue out in Colorado.
You know, me and you have been talking about this for years, Sean. I mean, I worked for the network just before I came back to the second Trump administration. And I've said over and over again, you know, what scares me about the southern border, the sex trafficking, right? Sky high. The Americans dying from fentanyl. The people, you know, all the drugs coming across, all the sex trafficking, all the smuggling. And I said what concerned me the most was they created the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen. Not only did 2 million known gotaways, 2 million people cross the border, we don't know who they are, where they came from, we don't know where they are now. On top of that, even through the legal process, the Biden administration were bringing people unvetted, handing out work visas like they're candy, while they sat here and planned something bad. We are going to be dealing with this for the next 10 years because of the chaos they created in 4 years. We're out there kicking butt. We're arresting a lot of criminal aliens. We're out there looking for the bad guy. And when we're out there doing that, Sean, we got protesters assaulting ICE officers. We got members of Congress all over the country going to ICE facilities, raising hell, saying this is their oversight responsibility. Where were their oversight responsibility when 10.5 million illegal aliens came across the border? Where's the oversight responsibility on releasing over 8 million illegal aliens to this country? Where's the oversight responsibility then? This is an attack on ICE. This is an attack on the Trump administration. We're trying to fix the damage done by Biden.
You're doing a great job, and this was...
Please accept my apologies. Give me number 96. Please accept my apologies. I, for one, try to never play a Sean Hannity clip, but it was Tom Homan. And I will tell you, I've told you the story before. I have met Mr. Homan a couple times. I've spent a little time with him. He's the real deal. The guy's the real deal. All right. Colorado attack investigation. And then you have, give me number 92, right? The suspect in Colorado, flamethrower attack, charged with attempted first-degree murder. And there's not one of these networks that are discussing the depth of the 2 million gotaways. Not a one. Not to mention the children that are missing. The 2 million gotaways. You don't know where they're at. Gotaways, no information whatsoever. And we have proof. We played video here. You have watched a lot of tape from journalists down in South America, the Darien Gap. When's the last time you heard about the Darien Gap? Remember the Chinese camp that was built there in the Darien Gap? Chinese men, all Chinese men. We know that coming across that southern border, an enormous amount of Middle Eastern men, from Egypt. Yes, Middle Eastern men. So, and here is when I say not the problem, but in 1986, is that when Reagan, is that the immigration bill? But 85, right? You're expecting that the person that came across that border, some, is Jose, Juan, just saying. And that's not the truth. And that's not the facts. Terrorists around the world in the invasion have cells in our country now. Yes, terrorist cells, cartels operating. And yes, ICE is being attacked. Now, they're mad at Stephen Miller. Here is, give me number 101. Roll this out. Running up against that. Okay. 1,500 undocumented immigrants in Massachusetts have been arrested. 102. More than just migrants with criminal records. 103. We're looking for children. Remember the 350,000 that we have a new quota of 3,000 arrests per day. So they're saying that Stephen Miller went into a room 104 with ICE and started screaming at the officials to arrest more undocumented immigrants, that Stephen Miller just lost it. Top Trump aide. We want more arrests. Well, I don't know that that's true, because they always have sources. They have those sources, and sources say. Maybe he said, look, we're going to clean these cities out. We're going to clean these sanctuary cities out. Now, let's see what else I have here. 94, the big, beautiful bill is gone to the Senate. We will get back into, I'm not listening to the Medicare cuts and the crying. I'm just not right now. Senate GOP leaders face division over Trump's tax and spend bill. Now, I will say this. NBC, CBS, ABC, MSNBC, CNN, they will not refer to the big, beautiful bill. They will not. So that is over at the Senate right now. We will await some of what is going on with that. There's no need to carry the water. Now, give me number 10. I don't want to leave without this one. Remember, here is the auto pen, right? And don't forget, there they are standing next to auto pen. There it is. There they are, standing right next to the president. There's the president right there. And 44, Ed Martin, opening the investigation. All right, take that down. Now, let me show you this. So this is very interesting. So what's the truth with Iran? What's the truth with Iran? The nuclear negotiation agreement. Give me 54. So Axios reported this. All right. And this is what's being reported in our media. U.S. nuclear deal offer allows Iran to enrich uranium. It allows the nuclear deal proposed the U.S. gave Iran on Saturday would allow low-grade uranium enrichment on Iranian soil. Now, you go over to Russia, 53. U.S. will not allow any enrichment of uranium in Iran under potential agreement, Trump says. So we have articles that saying there will be uranium enriched in Iran. And I don't know a whole lot about nuclear power. Not a nuclear physicist. I don't have time. I don't have time. But I don't know a lot about nuclear power, but the enrichment of uranium, I guess you can enrich it in other countries and ship it. You know, like you can go on there and you can put in how many containers do you want? 3. Do you want to go to checkout? Yes. I don't know. But weapons grade has to be enriched or something right there on site to manufacture nuclear warheads to strap onto a missile. I guess that's how it works. So that's the real sticking point. Iran is saying, we're going to enrich right down the street, but we're only going to fire up those lights over there with our plant. So that is one of the big stories that is not getting a lot of airtime. Are they enriching uranium or not? And I will say this, if you got to keep this in mind on this subject here, if Ukraine seriously, unbeknownst to the world, pulled off an 18-month attack on Russia, unbeknownst to China, unbeknownst to Iran, their friends, North Korea, unbeknownst, even to us, what has the last 18 months of planning been like China on Taiwan? What has the last 18 months of planning been like Israel, Iran? If you want me to believe that the 18 months planning the attack on Russia, there's several other issues around the world. I'd hate to think what the last 18 months under the Biden administration has been planned for us. Yeah, Russia can be just the tip. Every time we say 18 months, you got to remember that's the Biden number 2, Biden number 3, Biden number 4 administration. That's right. Exactly. So what did the 18 months over here? What happened over here for 18 months? What happened over here? I don't know. Give me number 48. Tom Holman. It's coming is what Tom Holman says. That's what he says. It's coming. Now, give me video 5 while I'm looking for the last one of the day. Give me video 5. I had it.
These people are evil people.
All right, Diane, I want to ask you if you'll do me a favor. I was going to do this. Can you Google search? Now listen to me real close. Can you Google search video zebra loose Tennessee? That's all you got to do. You got to put in zebra loose or Tennessee. You can put in zebra Tennessee. See if you can get that video for me. If you can. Now, if you can't, no problem. Now, I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking out the window. And let's see, I got to make sure we're almost on the top of the Georgia hour. I'm telling you, this is unreal. All right. It's coming, folks. Tom Holman's convinced U.S. will see major terror attack because of the invasion on our border. Absolutely an invasion on the border. So now, you know, number 77, while I'm waiting on that, if it's available. All right. Number 77, yesterday, Doug Burgum is the Interior Secretary. All right. He is the Secretary, Doug Burgum, of the Interior. He was in Alaska yesterday. Alaska is the home of 12% of the world's coal, second most in the world. 3% of the world's zinc, eighth most. 3.5% of the world's gold. 1.6% of the world's lead. At a roundtable today, members of the National Energy Dominance Council and industry executives discussed unleashing Alaska's vast resources and making American energy dominant again. So just a little something that's going on also. Were you able to find a video? If you didn't, it's okay. We'll move on. You can't make that up, folks. So you're in the subdivision, and you look out the window and you say, there's a zebra out there, right? There's a zebra. Now what are you doing? Get the zebra down. Stop with the zebra. All right, so you look out the window and there's a zebra. He's running through the neighborhood. This is a true story in Tennessee. Give me number... you can't make this up. I have to do one of these every day. We have to do, I guess I feel good. Give me 111. And 111, this is in Tennessee. Now, it's not against the law to own a zebra in Tennessee. Is it against the law to own a zebra? Did he get out of the zoo? No. He was a pet zebra. He got loose in Tennessee. It's not against the law. All right. So just saying. Now, we're going to take a break. Let me run through one more time to make sure. I want to put some Georgia stuff in the Georgia Hour. I've got a lot of stuff, so let's do this. Let's take a break. We're going to come back. We'll probably start the Georgia Hour 3 or 4 minutes early because we have a lot of stuff that has to be Georgia. The convention's coming up. We got to cover a lot of stuff. So let's go ahead and prepare for that. Go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back with the Georgia Hour.
Massive truck discounts are back at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Up to $12,500 off Silverado 1500s. Up to $9,000 off Silverado 2500s. Don't wait for Memorial Day. Get them before they're gone. $12,500 off Silverado 1500s. $9,000 off Silverado 2500s at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Larry's Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCar Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Welcome to El Rey Azteca Mexican Restaurant. We invite you to indulge your senses with our from-scratch authentic Mexican food. Whether you are hungry for fajitas or the El Rey Azteca burrito, we offer a wide variety of fine Mexican dishes, drinks, and desserts. Our inviting patio, indoor seating, and bar has a seat for everyone. So come to El Rey Azteca for delicious food, great drinks, good friends, and loads of fun in a casual and friendly atmosphere.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
All right, folks, we are back. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching the Georgia Hour on voiceofruralamerica.com. And we're just a couple minutes, 4 minutes before 10 o'clock. We have people that watch from 8 to 10, and then our national audience. Every day we do a national show from 8 to 10 where we talk about things that pertain to anyone around the world. But that being said, we started the Georgia Hour at 10 o'clock Monday through Friday, 1 hour, so we could separate and get focused on Georgia and our swamp here. Excuse me. Sorry, don't know what happened there, but that's our swamp here in Georgia. But what we have found interesting, internationally, sea to shining sea, you guys still want to know what's going on with the swamp, because this is the center of the steel in 2020. And everything we're talking about is a circle that goes back to that and much more. So welcome to the Georgia Hour. Now, before we really dig in this morning, 37, give me 37. We want to give, we want to put our prayers, not just our thoughts and prayers. You know, some people will go out and say that, but Bill Quinn in the top corner there. Now, Chris Gleason, this show in particular, and I told you this about smurfing. A lot of people hear smurfing on campaign finance. And Chris Gleason is an authority, and it's above my pay grade. So they did a complete segment. You can see that right there. You can find it on the Georgia Record, or on Rumble. But our prayers go out to Bill Quinn, a dear friend of the show, a friend of you guys out there. I'm able to say, I couldn't say it yesterday, but Bill did have a stroke a couple nights ago, but he's okay. I want to say that. Obviously, something medically happened that caused the stroke, but he's okay. All right. Great hospital, going to be going to rehab, waiting on some test results. But according to his wife, I spoke to his wife for quite some time yesterday afternoon. Bill is okay considering he had a stroke. So we're praying for Bill's speedy recovery. He will not be able to be at the convention. I told his wife yesterday, no. We'll wheel him in. Bill's got to go. But no, I don't think Bill is not going to be able to go to the convention and be with us. And I want people to know this for a couple reasons. I know you pray. I know you love Bill. But come Friday and Saturday at the convention, people are going to be like, where is Bill? So Bill, we pray for your recovery, and we appreciate you and all the work you do, and get back to work. All right. Healthy, speedy recovery, get back to work. Now take that down. So, all right. Now, Diane, I sent you a picture. I numbered it 125. I know that's out of gap, but today, Tuesday, we have a convention coming Friday and Saturday. We'll give you some details on that. But can you give me 125 that I sent over when you get a minute? Now, the reason I've had people say, what is the reason for releasing this? And let me go to Facebook. I want to find something here that I want to leave this up, because I've asked, what was the reason to do this? Okay. And so there was a post out there, and I read it this morning. All right. And blah, blah, blah. let's see. Here's the real question. Now, let me just say this, because here's the real question. If your preferred candidate doesn't win, and I thought about this. I got this at about 3:30 this morning. Here's the real question. If your preferred candidate doesn't win, okay? If your preferred candidate doesn't win, will you rally behind the winners for the good of the party, ? And, I thought about this, okay, because Saturday, someone will win, someone will lose. I think this is probably, in my lifetime in the Georgia GOP, the most divisive, hard-fought campaign in recent history, because we're trying to right the ship. And we had to venture into a battle, unlike anything in the past, because we had no choice but to do these things to bring attention to right the ship. So, but the point I'm getting at here, here's the real question. If your preferred candidate doesn't win, will you rally behind the winners for the good of the party? And, if someone would put the question out, would you rally behind the winners? But then when you add for the good of the party, or will you pack up and walk away, ignoring the critical municipal elections coming up this year and the major races on the horizon in 2026? Well, I hate to say side, but I think that question needs to go to the other side, because our only goal, when I say our only goal, is to unleash the greatest grassroots explosion ever in the state of Georgia, give every stakeholder a place at the table, and just empower counties, districts all over the state to win local, district, state elections. At no time do we ever want anything we're doing to be the cause of losing. Everything we're doing, we're looking at it having the result of winning. You got to correct the ship. You have to. We're not headed in the right direction. I know that. I know how many state house seats we've lost. I know how many state house seats that are within 100 and 200 votes, and 50 votes, and 80 votes. I know how many state Senate seats. I know that our districts are drawn to protect the 9 as the election of Republicans is shrinking in those districts. You got to think of it like this. I'm always going to give you just straight up. Cobb County has gone the wrong direction. Now, here is why people say, well, wait a minute. Why do you keep harping on Cobb County and Sally Grubbs? Because they took a portion of Cobb County and pushed it up into the 14th. So when someone says major races on the horizon of 2026, I'm looking at 2030, 2032. I'm looking at the total future, and I agree with 2026. But you got to remember something. If Cobb's headed in the wrong direction in a blue zone, they chopped out a part of Cobb and pushed it up into the, as Jim Tully would call it, the mighty 14th. And they're diluting that district. Same thing happened in the 9th district, diluting it. Now, that being said, or will you pack up? So my question is, when did lying, cheating, stealing, and corruption become acceptable to the point that it's for the good of the party? When will lying, cheating, right, stealing, corruption become for the good of the party? When will that happen? Because if you can explain for the good of the party, because I've been in the party since I'm 5 years old, and I'm tired of hearing about newcomers, and I'm tired of hearing about somebody made 5,000. I'm tired of hearing all that. Man, I used to put out at 3 a.m. in the morning, I used to put out signs along the interstate trying to get people elected. Thousands. I used to get up and go on Sundays to mega churches. Remember when we used to put out voter guides? I was in a metro area where we put out voter guides, and we would go at metro. We had teams, and we would go to these mega churches. And I knew how to flip a windshield and go like that faster than anybody you've ever met. I am so tired. Somebody sent me a message and said, just how many calls did you make? Don't even. You know what? Remember when we used to put out Christian, right? Voter guides? Man, Sunday morning, running through and what I call corruption. So I put this out last week, and I got people saying, I don't understand why. And I'm going to explain why right now. Because if you listen to this, it starts to come into focus today when we talk about Sally Groves, when we talk about Lori McLean. Well, you have to understand, you have this guy here, all right? Jeff Dellamajoro. Maybe a nice guy, number 43. So what Jeff Dellamajoro wants to lead us to believe is he had this $30 million company and he did everything. Okay, he did everything. He made the deposits. He reconciled his deposits. He did his books. He did his taxes. And so he is so qualified. You do realize, according to the rules of the Georgia Republican Party, that word bookkeeper, maybe I'm a bookkeeper, just saying. All right. So this guy wants you to believe he is so qualified. Now, here's another thing they want you to believe is that no one out there is in business and understands the real world. No one out there understands audits. You see, you don't understand. Only Josh understands. You don't understand. There can't be misappropriations of funds. You don't understand. It's not possible. It can be possible anywhere, right? Now, people will take this as implying something. But, you know, we used to have, in my past life, an organization that we used to be a member of, a national organization. 2 times a year, we would go to these meetings, national meetings, and we had about 250 members. So in the evening at the cocktail hour, you know, you ever been to one of those? And you're sitting around and you're talking with colleagues from California, Arizona, Idaho. Actually, I get some friends in Idaho, believe it or not. And you're talking to friends in Florida, whatever, even Illinois. There's always the stories of who in their organization they caught stealing from them, right? And it was the last person, and You know, this person used to babysit our children and just so on and so on. But what the Georgia Republican Party, Inc. wants you to believe is it could happen anywhere at any time. Anything could be just off the mark out there, but not in the Georgia GOP. Everything's on the up and up. 15 years, everything has been cash in, cash out, everything. Because it's miraculous to me that in 15 years, not even what's been uncovered in the last year has given many people pause to say, maybe we should look. Because I'm going to tell you out there, if you're on the executive committee of the Georgia Republican Party, and I was once on the executive committee of the Georgia Republican Party, if you're on the state committee of the Georgia Republican Party, and you only see and hear what we're talking about as noise and campaign rhetoric and nothing, and it's ugly and it's hateful, if that's what you see as a state committee member or an executive committee member, and what we show you and what you hear does not cause you to pause and say, wait a minute. How can you continue to go around and walk around with a couldn't happen here attitude? How can you continue to go around and walk around with a, well, Josh is such a nice guy attitude? Now, the reason I put up Jeff Della Maggiore is because he is the pick by Josh McCoon to run against Lori McClain. Now, Josh decides when you're out, okay? Josh decides when you're out. So, Jenny Eckman is the assistant treasurer, and Jenny Eckman has done zero, asked no questions in the past 2 years. All right. And Josh makes a decision, you're out, I'm done with you. I will get you out of the way somehow, some way. Now, I made the phone call, 125. All right. I took the heat, 125. All right. What do you mean by that? Listen to the phone call. Hundreds of calls about the fish fry. Calls about Josh's wife working in the office. Calls about Travis Bowden. Now, every time you say, well, Lori McClain could have went over to the office and sat with Karen all day long. Look, Travis Bowden stood over your shoulder and breathed down your neck so he could check everything and keep an eye on everything and tell Josh if something's going on. Oh, yes. A most uncomfortable thing in the world. I took the heat for that. Guess what? Josh made a decision. You're gone. I'll figure out what day you're gone. All right? Same thing with David Cross. They tried to, and Sally Grubbs will tell you she didn't. All right? Take that down. Give me number. I'm going to go back to Jeff Della Maggiore in a minute. So, right here, number 9. Sally Grubbs tried to work with others to remove David Cross. Wait a minute. If she attempted to remove David Cross as second vice chair once, right? Would she do it again? We'll come back to that. Now, Sally Grubbs has a couple sides to her. That's right. Calculating. I will say she's calculating. She's always figuring the next move. So she attempted to remove David Cross. It didn't work. It didn't work. So Josh did a PowerPoint presentation on David Cross at a state committee meeting, dressed him down, treated him terrible. Absolutely. Anyone in management, any professional out there would never do what Josh McCoon did. But he did it on purpose because they're going to remove me. It would be tough to remove David, right? But they'll shut him down and ice him over here. Oh, yeah, unity. Now, Lori McLean. Let's move to Lori McLean. Now, Josh makes a decision when he's done with you, period. Makes a decision. I'm finished with you. I will now shut you down. I will work to get you out of the way. That's just how it works. So he did that with me. He did that with David. He did it with Lori McLean. Now, I don't know exactly what happened. So when I say he made a deal, Jenny Ekman didn't give him a problem. All right. Susie Voiles was complicit. When I say complicit, she went along to get along. Okay, Josh, I'm not going to cause you any problems, so you don't have to, I won't cause no problem. And Caroline Jeffords and Sally Grubbs, we'll leave that hanging for now. So now we're going to come back to Sally in just a minute. Let's go to Jeff Delamanjuro. So Josh decided, you know what? I'm going to, this is my opinion. Clearly, I want it marked as my opinion. Josh decided we're going to get rid of Lori McLean. So we're going to, I'm going to bring in this guy from Fulton County. He's got history. He could be a great asset to what BKP calls their cover-up team. He may have been in Fulton County at the time, that they stole an election there. He may have been in Fulton County, may have. I'm just saying may have, okay? Don't have all the details, but he may be a lot of smoke around the time at Trey Kelly and, the whole thing with the Fulton County Trust Fund. And then he may have been there around the whole time that Betsy Kramer was first vice chair and what is her name? I forget her name. I don't want to. Sonia, right? What's Sonia's last name? Sonia was the secretary, and there was a police report filed. Sonia may have claimed. I got to be careful because I don't want to step on anything that's not accurate. But a lot of the whole trust fund and Trey Kelly and Tiddlywinks and stealing an election, and Sonia is the secretary, and Betsy Kramer is the first vice chair, and there was what Sonia says. Over 100 forged documents with her name as the secretary on there. Jeff Delamanjuro was aware of it. I mean, this is his big story that goes around, right? So he would probably be the ideal guy for Josh McCoon. I'm just saying. It's out there. I'm not putting it out there. It's out there. Everybody knows it. So then this guy says, he goes out there and he says, here's what his email. I had it just a minute ago, Diane. We will find it here in a second. Give me number 42, because I'm going to break this down because I'm tired of hearing some things. All right. So number 42, dear fellow Georgia delegates, 1, maintain clean, transparent books with daily accountability. Well, you can't do that. You can't do that. Support and execute the chairman's agenda. Well, I will tell you right now, Lori McLean did everything she could possible to work with Josh McCoon, Karen Henshaw, and in the onset, right, Travis Bowden, and getting information, getting it to the state committee, working with county treasurers. But she was boxed out. She was boxed out. Now, fundraise aggressively and effectively. Well, we know what happened there. So there's a lot went on, and I want to show you this. So here's a text message, number 79. And the reason I'm bringing this up today is because I'm about tired of people not telling the truth. I really am. Okay. Because when I read, if this side does not get in for the good of the party, good of the party. And I thought to myself, what I am doing, what others are doing is for the good of the party. I get tired of hearing that you should go over here and let status quo, let we've always done that way, let the side of don't look here, and that's called for the good of the party. So to Josh McCoon, this is a Lori McLean. Now, everything I'm about to show you has been made public. Everything that I'm about to show you, I have been aware of. So I'm transparency. But I respect people. I don't do people wrong. This is a report sent to the executive committee of the Georgia Republican Party. And I waited until this was put out with another venue by another venue so that I could say this is public. All right? That's bottom line. So, no, BKP wasn't hiding anything. I do things in the correct manner and time. So, this is out there. You can find it, not just here. Now, Lori always tried to approach everything with Josh like, I know you're busy. I know you got a day job. I did the same thing. Listen to the audio. Immediately, Josh, you're busy. You got a day job. We got the biggest election. We got this big election going on. I am 100% aware that you've had your hands full. I have tried to steer clear from bothering you, but I've got late and inaccurate filings with my name on them, okay? Now, she's telling Josh. Now, Josh told you, right, that, hi, Charlie, I figured it was about time. Have you guys met Charlie? Come here. All right, this is Charlie. Every morning, Charlie comes to say hello. Get pooches, get smooches. Hi, Charlie. Do you want to stay for the rest of the show? Now, go on. You know you can't stay. Now, run along. So, anyhow, all right. Josh told you, what did he tell you? Josh told you that he reviewed, right? That Lori reviews and he reviews. Now, I will tell you this. Maybe those on Signal that refer to me as AKA the check forger might want to listen in. But when you do these reports and you have a CEO, and you have a treasurer, and you have an executive bookkeeper or whatever her name is, it's not uncommon that the CEO would call the bookkeeper and the treasurer and say, I just finished reviewing this for the weekend. That's what a good CEO would do. I mean, I work days I shouldn't, hours I shouldn't. I just finished reviewing this for the weekend. Can we go over a couple things? On page 87, this expenditure here, I don't know that I remember everything about that. Can you refresh me on that? You see, they want to lead you to believe that people out here didn't live in the real world. Because Josh wants to lead you to believe, right, that in 99 pages, he reviewed it and said, wow, it looks great. Once again, every I's dotted, T's crossed. Perfect. That's what he wants you to believe. Then Lori gets it with like, it's got to be in the mail or you got to initial it because I got to e-file it by Sunday. I can't read 99 pages. So I want to see where the document from Josh McCoon was questioned at any time before filing. Now, Lori's telling him, you know, you get the job, you don't want to come in, you don't want to change everything. You want to try to work with everybody. Lady's been there for years. But I've got late and inaccurate filings with my name on them. There's over $1 million flying in and out of our accounts, and I don't even have access to them. Now, flying in and out of the accounts don't have access. Now, Lori McLean asked for access and was denied. We'll get with a timeline later. Now, here's the other thing, all right? If you, well, she could sign checks. She's on the account. All right. Now, I don't know the details on this, but let's explain this to the people that feel like there's nothing to see here. If you own an account, you can add signers. All right. Now, in my company years ago, I added our general manager as a signer to the account. But our general manager, signatory, big word, right? As a signatory on the account. I added our general manager on, but I did not own the account. When I managed a business, oh yeah, by the way, I was signing checks. That's for Steve Kramer and Tyler, and let's throw Katie Frost, and I was signing checks. When I was with a company in North Carolina, I was a signator on an expense account for the branch. Same thing in Georgia when I moved here, I was a signator, but I did not own those accounts. So if I would have walked in and wanted to alter the account, make a difference in accounts, they print me out this, they would see very clearly I'm a signator on the account, not the owner of the account. Now, Lori could have went to the bank. She could have said, I'm on this account. And I don't know. I'm just saying what would have probably happened is they would have had to call the chairman and say, can we give her access to the account? So quit saying she could have walked in the bank. She got Jeff Della Maggiore. She could have just walked in the bank. Quit saying that. Not true. Okay. Now, even if she walked in the bank, she could see, I don't know if we have an American Express, she could see we got an American Express, and she could see a $50,000 payment. She could see a payment to an attorney. But when you hear she didn't have the source documents, right? It's because she didn't. She didn't have all the charges. Remember, that went into FEC that she's telling you. Now, I was aware of this. I tried to have conversations with Josh. Lori's got to have access. Why can't Lori go in the office? You don't understand. You text Josh, nothing back. You call Josh, nothing back. Josh runs away from everything. Every decision that has to be made. As a leader, he runs away from and leaves you hanging out there. And then when it comes back as a problem, why, I have plausible deniability. And I want us all to unite. Don't you, Sally Grubbs? Yes, so do I. Can't make this up. Now, our accounts and I don't even have access to them. I know stuff moves pretty fast before a presidential election, but I would like to at least know what is happening. I'm just frustrated. Here's Josh's answer. Well, that is fair. Go listen to the audio with me and find out how many times Josh said to me, that's fair. I think that's a fair question. Go listen, right? This wasn't unusual. Well, that's fair. Let me get through catching up today. Going to be here really late, and I'm glad to call you tomorrow at your convenience so we can cover the issues that are outstanding. Guess what? No phone call. Let me get caught. I think we should have that conversation. Okay. Thank you. Without being a biatch, Lori, without being a biatch, this will now be the 5th time, right? The 5th time you promised a discussion with me. I hope you are able to squeeze out some time. I'm available all day. Hey, you've promised me 5 times to have this discussion. Go listen to my audio. It's all going to click for you. You see, Josh was determined Lori wasn't going to see no more than she had to see, or he had to allow her to see. Josh was determined that David Cross was not going to be involved in any way whatsoever. And Josh was determined a person that would ask questions, would go look, wanted to know what was behind the curtain, and had your back, had to be removed. You just think about it, all right? For the good of the party, okay? It's almost like, do you ever see the movie, right? Hot Fuzz? No, you're going to think I'm so. You ever see the Hot Fuzz? You remember they murdered people, but it was for the greater good? Do you remember that? All jokes aside, Hot Fuzz. It was for the greater good. That's what I think about when I hear for the good of the party, for the greater good. So lying, cheating, stealing, corruption, but it's for the greater good. Wow. All right. So Lori's saying, hey, you know, you've told me 5 times. Well, I think that's something we should talk about. Now, so the campaign is going on. Lori's frustrated. It starts getting out there that she doesn't have access. People start saying, wait a minute, our treasurer doesn't have access. So the professional, and I say this, the professional that Lori McClain is, she says it is now off the record. I mean, it is now on the record, all right? She says, look, here's what I'm going to do. Because I called her, I said, you're getting all this pushback. You and I know the truth. Lori, you and I know the truth on what happened during your administration. Now, you see in the text message, she says, we got millions of dollars flying in and out of the accounts. Now, Josh will tell you we've done this for 15 years. 15 years. That's just the way it works. We got a nice little thing going here. We don't want you to get involved. I told you yesterday, I don't know the number, but I'm thinking off the top of my head, David Schaefer had like 48 million go through there. Josh says, well, I had 3 on one day, I had 4 on the other, and then next thing you know, I got 23 million flying through there. What could go wrong? And then we find out that all these people that are friends of Josh, and then we have these accounts, and we're not going to talk about them today, that seem to be mysterious accounts where there's a little bit of, you know, where the penny that falls off, right, goes into a different account. Oh, that would be Office Space. I got a movie for all. Remember the penny that falls off? They'll never recognize it, right? They'll never recognize that penny. So we'll go into that on a different day. But they don't want to talk about it. It's perfect. It's perfect. And all Josh did was, you know, he was in bad shape. He went to the gym. Well, I needed a bow tie. You know, come on. I was having a steak dinner, so I brought some people back with me to work the polls. Oh, okay, I get it, Josh. That explains everything. So millions of dollars flying back and forth. You know, I'm aware. So Lori, being the professional she is, she says to me, you know, I said, Lori, you know, I wouldn't put up with this. I would get right out there and they would know. Now, here's the thing. Yesterday you saw documents flying, but I thought what was best is you can't just look at Twitter and I'm glad the documents are out and say, what does this mean? So I said, look, let's break it down. Now, number 58, because God knows one person likes this person, one person likes this person, one person doesn't like this person, one person claims this person. So Amy Kramer, she is a member of the executive committee. Now, let me just say this and let's move on. Like her or don't like her, She's a member of the executive committee. A member of the executive committee of the state of Georgia Republican Party can, by rules, attempt to initiate a meeting. You can do it, right? So nothing here is out of the norm or the rules. She's also elected by the delegates, and she is the Georgia Republican National Committee woman for the RNC on the executive committee. So she called for an executive committee meeting after she received a file from Lori McClain. Go ahead, Lori, you got to put a stop to this. So here's where we're at. She has called for this meeting. I'm not at liberty to say, but she's only had 2 responses from the executive committee. Now, while we're at it, the executive committee exists of. You have state committee. You hear things. You could get them confused. All right. But the executive committee exists of 14 county chairs. 14 county chairs. It exists of the 2 national committee members, meaning Jason Thompson and Amy Kramer. All right. The state officers being Josh, first, second, treasurer assistant, secretary assistant. That's on the executive committee. And that's why these executive committee elections, that's why these votes are important, that you have to put people on there that are grassroots, MAGA, America First candidates. You got to think about that. All right. This is not a campaign stunt. It's the damn truth. Now, and then you have, I don't think you have non-voting members, but then you have David Schaefer, past chair, so forth. This is the executive committee. All right. Now, so Lori McClain, being the professional she is, said, you know what? I'm going to put it out there, but I'm going to put it out to the executive committee. Because a lot of people are like, why won't Lori say this? Why won't Lori say that? Why won't she come clean? That'd be Josh McCoon, come clean. I'll tell you why. Because she's a professional, A. She has a lot of clients, B. She doesn't need, although she's not paid by the Georgia Republican Party, Inc., she does not need, right? She does not need for clients out there to think, well, wait a minute, if you're going to put all their information on Facebook and put all their information out online, when would you put mine? I mean, all the thoughts go through your head because this is a person that teaches in college. This is a person qualified to do certified accounting, so forth. So she is respecting the state of Georgia Republican Party, Inc., which that's another question. And she says, all right, I'm going to tell the executive committee what's going on. I'm going to send it to them because this election's hot. So she sends a file to the executive committee of Georgia. This is why, once reading this is why Amy Kramer wanted a meeting. All right. Nothing to see here. So 73, I told you every single thing I have here is out in public now, but there are some things that have to be. So here is what was sent to the executive committee. All right. Diane, text me if there's a problem. We might run a little late. If we can't run late, just tell me. It's not fair to you, but I need to know. So this is number 73, to the Georgia Republican Party State Executive Committee from Lori McClain. All right. It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate that the campaign for chairman of our party, do you have it? Are you just waiting to get in that box where it's at? Sometimes I don't send stuff, folks. And I want to make sure we're going to have several to go through, and I want to make sure we get them on this.
Number? I thought we were on the right
73.
number.
Thank you, Diane. I appreciate you very much. To the Georgia Republican Party Executive Committee, it is unfortunate that the campaign for chairman of the party has focused on financial matters which have thrust my responsibilities into the forefront of the conversation. But since that is where we are, I feel I must address some inaccuracies in some public statements that are being disseminated. Laura, you better not be using all these big words that I cannot do after 10 o'clock. I cannot speak to how the party has been operating for 15 years. I can only comment on the last 2. It is true that usually compliance filing prepared by Karen Henschel are reviewed by me prior to filing. There have been times when that has not happened and reports were filed without me seeing them first. Really? Really? Now she's putting it out there and she's telling the executive committee, but they don't want to have a meeting. They don't want to have a meeting. Nothing to see here, right? Let's just gloss over this. Karen Henschel is filing reports without her seeing them, right? FEC reports. Now, Josh, is she filing them without you seeing them? Or is that under, Josh, is that under penalty of perjury, Josh, that you keep using? Jeff Delamajoro, I'm going to look every day because that's under penalty of perjury. I wouldn't risk going to jail. Now, you got to understand, Karen Henschel, this is not a Karen Henschel attack day. She is the boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to give you something very big when we get to another section. I have asked Karen more than once not to file reports without my name on them, without my permission, but it has happened. Just saying, okay? Whether our chairman has ever seen them or not, I can't answer. He has certainly never shared any comments on the report with me. Now, let me take the real world. Let me bring you into the real world. Because as a CEO that's handled a lot more than Josh McCoon, yes, more, Steve Kramer, I know this shocks you. Tyler or Travis Bowden, I know, hang tight. Even the Frost, hang tight. I have managed more than $23 million. Mm-hmm. And guess what? Every time I had a report, whether it be a financial report, an inventory audit, people would sweat in the office. When's he calling us? He's had that report on his desk for 2 hours. He's going to call me down and ask questions. He's going through my sales report. He's going through my expense report. Oh, my God, he's not going to sign off on it. I swear, I was buying donuts for a customer. In the real world, we've done this, Josh. In the real world, we've done this, whoever's listening. We understand how it works. Quit acting like there's something special out there for you and not for us, okay? I mean, they just like, oh, there's a bizarro world where the Georgia GOP Inc. operates. So, Josh, there's no way as a CEO of a corporation, because you are, would you have a report that you wouldn't ask one question? You call your treasurer up and say, are you signing off on this? Because I have a little concern. That would be management, and he cannot manage the operation. It is true that I am a signer on every bank account, that I am aware of where we have funds. I could have marched into the bank at any point and demanded online access to the accounts. It is absurd that I would have to do this. Why would the treasurer of the Georgia GOP have to march into the bank? Like, Josh, I've asked you to call me a dozen times. We need to talk about some things. Karen, could you get me? Oh, okay. I'm just going to march into the bank, right? As an elected official in this organization, I should be able to get every single piece of paper I want without going to the bank. I didn't go for two reasons. One, I expected that they would deny me access without permission from the chairman, since he is the one with the relationship. That's true. That is true. A signatory on the bank cannot, on a bank account, can't just walk in and start demanding things. When they pull the account out, you're a signatory. You may not be right on the account. So they're going to pick up the phone. Look, we have a Lori McLean in the lobby, and she's demanding access. What say you? This is what's going on, black and white, right? So I have respect for the office of the chairman and would not go around him. For the record, when I did finally ask him for online access, I was told that would be detrimental to the Georgia Republican Party. I give her a damn lie detector test. I mean, the Georgia Republican Party, he stands up and says, well, he attorney speak. He got that attorney speak. And I'm going to show you his attorney speak in just a minute. He can't talk to you like an individual. He can't have a conversation with you. He has to have an attorney speak kind of conversation. Let me check all the legalese before we talk. All right, so be detrimental. And I tried to respect the chairman, listen to the audio. Like, Josh, I don't want to go out there and do this and this. I don't want to. Josh McCoon, you need to know, as, and only I, your host, I used to love when Rush used to do that. Only I, your host, can speak of these matters with this kind of knowledge. Boy, I wonder who made that. Maybe. Also, the chairman suggested that my request for online access was a campaign stunt, although my request happened long before I had an opponent in the race for re-election. He also impugned my integrity. Is that what that big word is? But that is a personal matter between the two of us. Now, okay, boom, 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 boom. The chairman is suggesting that I do not raise any concerns about my level of access to records until his opponent begin his campaign. This is simply not true. I have a text message thread dated July 22nd, 2024, wherein I implore Josh to speak to me about my request. We showed you the text message. She showed Josh over and over, hey, this is like the fifth time you said you're going to call me, right? Now, before I was removed, Lori would call me. Your first vice chair, are you getting anywhere? So here's what used to happen, okay? Now, I had a standing meeting with the chairman. All right. We started having a meeting with Travis, right? And I get Lori, I got David, I've got these people Josh won't communicate with. So I started a standing meeting with Travis. You heard on the phone call, it was worthless. So I said to Josh, Josh, we're going to pick a time and you and I are going to have a conversation. Same time, every week, 30 minutes. That way I'm not bothering you. But you and I will have a one-on-one. And I put that pressure and he agreed to it. So I think it was Monday morning at 7 a.m. We were going to talk max 30 minutes. He had to go to work. I had to go to work. Okay. So I would send David, Lori McLean, and others, all right, messages. I'll be a liaison because Josh is not communicating with them, right? I'll be a liaison. I set up a Monday morning meeting with Josh. And you need to get me anything that I need to talk to Josh about concerning the treasurer, concerning the second vice chair, anything. And they would. They would call me during the week and say, when you talk to Josh, can you make sure he hears this? So forth. Oh, you people just don't know. You do not know. So also, as chairman suggested, the online, let's see, I do not discuss who my clients are as a matter of course. I did, however, let it slip to one and an explanation as to why I was not taking sides in the chairman's race. And this person clearly told everybody she can think of an effort to hurt me. Yes, David Cross is a client, all right, very public. So are other members of the state executive committee, which I will leave nameless. Lori does a lot of work for a lot of clients. To suggest that my client list affects my ability to do my job is ludicrous. That's a big word, Lori. Ludicrous argument once again, designed to publicly impugn my integrity. Lori, I have not said impugn that many times. Page 2 is where it gets interesting. Ready? I was not well known 2 years ago when I ran for treasurer. I was a surprise to all of us when I got elected because I was new and was certainly not going to start complaining and try to rock the boat. I get it, Lori. Until I had a feel for how things worked, I purposefully did not express my concerns. We're at 74. All right, there you go. Express my concerns regarding my lack of access in public way. I tried to work directly with our chairman. Folks, you cannot keep saying that over and over and over and everybody be a liar. You can't do it. You can't do it. I asked Amy Kramer when she got elected, did Josh shake your hand when you got elected? No. I went on Facebook, on the Republican Party, Facebook, Twitter. I was waiting for congratulations to our new Republican women National Committee woman, Amy Kramer. Nothing. Not everybody's lying, folks. All right? Let's see. I prepared a comprehensive report for the state committee May 2024. I was told that I would be able to put my report on the screen for all to see. I broke down the legal fees we had to be paying by case to show where most of the money had been spent. If you recall, the screen was so small and off on one side that it was not legible to 80% of the people in the room. That makes it extremely difficult to discuss details. I try to be very cautious discussing legal matters since some of them may be confidential. I will always defer to the chairman to those issues. Does it sound like the phone call? Now, this concerns me. All right, this concerns me. Immediately after the state committee meeting in May 2024 in Columbus, I shared with the chairman a series of texts that I had received that appeared to accuse our accounting director of embezzlement. All right. Now, there's been accusations and there's some documents out there of concern of embezzlement. Now, she's telling the state executive committee, look, I took this to the chairman a long time ago. All right. You may have us sitting together in the dais. Is that the dais? All right. Looking at my phone, I again reiterated that if I had better access, I could defend Karen more vehemently and potentially shut down these attacks. I asked him if the texts were actionable, and he seemed to think they might be. Well, that's something we could talk about. That might be. That's something we can look at. He said we would talk about it after the convention. Again, we'll talk about it. We scheduled at least 5 different times to speak that never happened. Now, if you're treasurer of a multi-million-dollar organization, and you're the CEO, and your treasurer brings to you text messages that say there's possibilities of embezzlement, all right? Now, these are accusations. There's possibilities of embezzlement. and you read them, and then you say, oh, that's something of interest. I need better access. We got to talk. I mean, let me help clear Karen Henschel's name. Let me help Karen get past this. We don't want people out there thinking Karen's doing something nefarious. Let me help. Because remember, the forensic audit, well, that implies something nefarious is happening. Something illegal is taking place. And we can't do that. Well, I'm bringing you the word embezzlement. I'm bringing you something here. Well, we will talk right after the convention. Nothing. Now, I'm CEO. Someone comes to me and says, my treasurer comes to me and says, look, I'm getting these messages. This is something we just do the review and put it to rest and say nothing to see here and feel good about it. You're exactly right. Be in my office Monday morning, 8 a.m. Well, I don't get up until 8 a.m. Well, okay. Get up at 7. I'm just serious. That's how it works in the real world. Get in my office. Let's put this to rest. Let's solve it. Karen, and don't say anything to Karen. Now, this is not personal. Oh, my God, he's going to hide it from Karen. No. In the real world, because that's where we're going to come from, you don't say anything to the individual the accusation is made about, called tipping them off. You don't do it. So anyhow, all right, so I mean, where's that word? I could defend Karen more vehemently. We scheduled at least 5 different times to speak and never happened. In August of 2024, we had our last meeting as a body and no further financial reports were ever presented. With the money pouring in from the RNC and the majority of it going out for campaign expenses, there were other pressing matters, and I purposefully did not want to bother the chairman with the concerns. I mean, this is the most professional statement, one of them. After the election, I began to think about certain rule changes that might need to be brought forward at the next state convention. I drafted one and sent it to a group of people, including our chairman, that I thought would give him honest feedback. Let me get past that. The chairman flatly denied my request. All right. I still have the email, should you need to see it. After I regained my composure, let's see, I thought that even if, where's Karen? All right. I thought that even if we didn't change the rules, I could still ask for permission to get more access for my term. Again, at that point, I had no competition in my race for treasurer, and naively thought I would be reelected. The chairman flatly denied my request. I still have the email if you want to see it. After I regained my composure, I called Karen and explained to her that I was trying to protect her from the accusations I was hearing. Now, Karen should have immediately said, please do. Please help. Hey, Josh, our treasurer is trying to help. Get her in here. Didn't happen. Okay. She sounded shocked and dismayed and thanked me. A week later, I had an opponent. I can only assume what happened during that week. So she calls Karen. She says, Karen, look, you need to know up front. There's accusations flying. Okay. The word embezzlement's been out there. I've talked to Josh. I'm paraphrasing this. I've talked to Josh. I've tried to get a meeting with Josh. I want to do what I can to protect you. Oh, I'm shocked. Are you serious? Why, thank you for your concern. Now, this is just, Josh, we may need to go with plan B. I don't know. I just said that, all right? So the next week, Lori had an opponent, right? So, FEC guidelines and management comments from the last audit we had done both mention the separation of duties and fundamental and good system of internal control. Let me try that one more time because this is a very important sentence in the real world. Okay. FEC guidelines and the management comments from the last audit we had done both mention the separation of duties that the fundamental in a good system of internal control. My efforts are solely related to protecting the party and setting up the most basic set of controls to avoid, number 75, any appearance of impropriety. We've always done it that way is not a defense or good business practice. The chairman's race should not have anything to do with me. My name shouldn't even be invoked. I have in no way participated in or provided any data used in any campaign communication. Now, this is the email she sent to the executive committee. Is there shock? Is there concern? Debbie Dooley, are you out there putting this out? Are you? Are you out there, Jim Tully in the 14th, saying, hold on a minute? I've always liked Josh, but I got to think about this, right? Chan Jones in the 8th. Well, you know, I got to think about this, all right? Because not only is this from the treasurer, this is telling you from the treasurer, from my point of view, why Josh McCoon can no longer be the Georgia GOP chair. You see, this right here is what we have to correct to give the party a good bill of health, for donors and to grow and get back on in the direction we need to be going. Period. Now, so let me show you something, and I'm going to get out because it's 11:03. Give me go back to 74. FEC guidelines and management comments from the last audit. Now, let's keep in mind, wrap it up. FEC reports have been turned in without Lori given the green light. Turned in. Check how many FEC reports had to be refiled based on errors, corrections, modifications, right? There's several. Now, this is 101. If you have a business, now, Josh, you may want to pay attention to this because this is not lawyer, this is business. If you have a business that's operating 23 million, we'll go with the 23 million because you've changed it a couple times. That's coming through the door, in and out. You never is the big word. You got it? You never allow the same person who makes the deposits, you never allow that individual to reconcile the books. You don't do it. You never let this person who deposits everything for you do your reconciliation. You let someone else do your reconciliation. Standard practice, best practice, advised in any business to do it that way. All right? Bottom line. All right? You don't do that. Now, that right there, and then when you hear Josh say, Jeff Delamaduro say, we do a financial review. Folks, after what you've read this morning, a financial review, it's unreal that they would say, we do a financial review. It's unreal. If you had a true, well, we'll call it a financial review done by an outside source, the very first thing in the report, now I don't know how many of you out here, and I'm doing this so it can be very thorough. All right. How many of you have been at the your city, your county, right, audit review? And the auditor comes and makes the presentation to your county, your city, or whatever about the audit, and then gives the notes at the end of best practices, right? And you look at the review on the audit that says, these are things that you should probably be aware of and maybe change how you do it. Now, auditors can't say you got to do this, but they will tell you, don't let the same person that counts the cash from the state park be the same person depositing and the same person reconciling. They'll tell you that. So the reality is, anyone that did an outside financial review of this organization would immediately come back, and their biggest red flag would be, we cannot give you a bill of good health based on your lack of simple business basic practices of deposit and reconciliation. You know what they'll tell you? That in itself would require a deeper and more thorough investigation. I'm going to use the word investigation. All right? Audit. You use that. So every time they tell you 15 years, it's always worked. Karen Henschel's worked there 15 years. Just saying. I would protect myself, and I would not allow the word embezzle anywhere around me. Now, I'm just telling you, for the good of the party. So, Lori McLean, and this is all online. We're going to get out right here. Give me number 68. On January 28th, 2025, of this year, she wrote a full letter to Josh. Now, she has been all this time trying to work with him. There's a campaign for president. There's Trump Force 47. There's moving parts. There's cash coming in, cash going out. Trump Force 47 employees have to be paid. Rent has to be paid to these locations. RNC sends the money. And then you got an attorney wanting paid. So she sends an email like, okay, things have cooled down. All right. Trump is inaugurated. Well, why did she wait till January? She didn't wait till January 28th, folks. Trump's elected. He's inaugurated. He's president. Okay. This should be a perfect time for once and for all. Let's get some things on the same page. That's my opinion. So she writes that, and there's number 69. Please respond at your earliest convenience, Lori, right? Okay. Josh responds. Now, we're going to break this down at a different time. Go to number 70. He responded to himself, Karen, Justin, and Alex Kaufman. All right, the attorney. He copies our attorney, the Georgia GOP, yours. And when you read this, it's very legal. It's very, to me, it's very cover up. Give me number 71. When you read this, it's like a team of attorneys got together and responded with all the legal reasons and answers. 72. All right. And this is Josh's response, which we'll go into at a later time. Now, tomorrow and I know a lot of you are looking at this. Number 9, this is Sally Grubbs, okay? And Sally Grubbs is a calculating person, all right? She's running for first vice chair of the Georgia Republican Party. Let's go with number 9, Sally Grubbs. Now, let me show you something here. So this has been released, and this is, we knew this all along, and this is Sally Grubbs' BFF Matt Strout dishes on getting, this is number 80, dishes on getting Mary Clarice Hathaway to run for Cobb County GOP chair at Sally's direction. Now, regardless of what you feel about the Cobb County GOP chair race, regardless, let's not go into the ugly side of Debbie Dooley's mental illness. All right. Could somebody please go do a wellness check on Debbie Dooley? Plus Sally's lukewarm support for Colton Moore and praise for Brian Kemp. We'll break this down tomorrow because I can't just play it. I have to break it down because I know her cunning calculations and how she manipulates things. See, what you're going to hear tomorrow is, see, I have text messages where, can you prove I tried to help get David Cross removed? Can you prove that? Where's your proof? But you'd make phone calls. Oh, yeah, calculating phone calls behind the scenes. And we knew that. We knew what she was doing. Now, let me close with this. And we're going to have the convention Friday. Let me close with this and get it out of the way. You ready? I watched the cunning calculations of this person, Sally Grubhub, as we call her, right? I watched it. I watched what she did. I watched her help campaign around the state to remove me for Josh. That was for Josh. That wasn't for the good of the party. Wasn't for the good of the party. It wasn't for the good of the party. It wasn't because Democrats were going to attack us. None of the above. It was for Josh. Okay. Josh didn't want questions from anyone, and I was carrying the questions. That being said, I watched what she did. I watched her attempt working with others to try to get David. I watched it. So let me look at you and tell you, when David Cross is elected chairman of the Georgia Republican Party, we will have the largest grassroots explosion ever in Georgia. But let me readdress the question. Okay? Let's go back to the question. Remember the question? Because now we can answer it. In case, no, that's not it. Here's the question. Ready for the question? Here's the real question. If you prefer a candidate doesn't win, will you rally behind the winner for the good of the party? So, Sally, if Josh doesn't win, will you rally behind, if you win, God forbid, will you rally behind David Cross for the good of the party, the chairman? Will you do all those great things for the chairman that you claim you will do, right? Or will you pack up and walk away, ignoring the critical municipal elections coming up this year and the major races? Or Sally, if when David Cross is elected, if, God forbid, you're elected first vice chair, will you work or will you start initiating the removal of David Cross? In my humble opinion, a David Cross chairman and a Sally Grubhub first vice chair equals a Sally Grubhub trying to whoop up a removal of the chairman of the Georgia Republican Party, David Cross. If you think Sally Grubhub will serve 2 years with a Chairman David Cross, she's calculating, cunning, manipulating, all the above. Just saying. All right, we got to get out. Sorry, Diane. My sincere apology to you. Please, folks, keep our friend. When I hear for the good of the party, I always hear for the greater good, right? Hot fuzz, look it up, for the greater good. For the greater good, right? Everything, they'd murder people. People were murdered, but it was for the greater good. All right. Remember, please say a prayer for our good friend Bill Quinn, who is in the hospital recovering. He's doing well, and we love you, Bill. Get well soon. We'll even bring you a cake. Somebody take him a cake over there. No, don't, because I'll get in trouble for text me, call me, whatever. I got to get out of here. I got to go cut the grass. Take a break.